If he can do it, there's hope for the rest of us. So, he sits and he meditates until one night. In fact, let me read you an account of it from Houston Smith that describes the moment when, to quote the Doors, he broke on through to the other side. Okay? Thereafter, while the bow tree rained red blossoms that full moon May night, Gautama's meditation deepened through watch after watch until as the morning star glittered in the transparent skies of the east, his mind pierced at last the bubble of the universe and shattered it to naught. Only wonder of wonders to find it miraculously restored with the effulgence of true being. The great awakening had arrived. Gautama's being was transformed and he emerged the Buddha. The event was of cosmic import. All created things filled the morning air with their rejoicings, and the earth quaked 6 ways with wonder. 10,000 galaxies shuddered in awe as lotuses bloomed on every tree, turning the entire universe into a bouquet of flowers sent whirling through the air. Sounds like Mardi Gras here, right? Oh, wow. And when you think of Buddhism, do you, like me, think of the paintings of the Buddha or the statues of the Buddha, right? And there he sits, right? And there he sits. And unless it's that laughing Buddha that's so popular in the West, ordinarily he's just sitting there, right? Just utter equanimity. What is he thinking? Why doesn't he tell us? Oh, Buddha, what is your wisdom, right? It's like the Cheshire Cat. He's not telling us. You know why he's not telling us? Because there's only one person who can figure it out. And guess who that is? It's you, right? It's you. It's you. You got to figure it out. And sure enough, he wakes up after this experience, right? And he's been through all of this just grueling process. What do you think? What's the first thing you would do if you had meditated 49 days and nights? And what's the first thing you'd want? Well, get me a cheeseburger for one thing, but no, that doesn't fit this religious tradition, right? They're vegetarians. The devout ones are, at least. You know what he does? I mean, this is a tough guy, okay? He gets up and he walks about 100 miles, okay, to the city of Benares in northeastern India, where in a deer park, and I'm happy to report that there are still deer living in this park, at least the park that is purported to be the site of his first sermon, he does deliver his message. This is what I have learned, right? He's turned it into a kind of, I don't know, I guess you could call it a system, and they're known as the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths. Again, we have Buddhist doctrine, right? Remember that dimension, Buddhist doctrine. This is what, and again, Buddhism is no different from any of the other religious traditions in that there are many Buddhisms, right, depending on where you find it and which tradition it comes out of. But Buddhists agree on this basic doctrine, the Four Noble Truths, and the Noble Eightfold Path, which I hope we can get to in a moment. And the first thing that the Buddha says, maybe someone in here knows. Do you know the first of the Four Noble Truths? Anyone? Yes. Life is what? No, life is a bowl of cherries. What? Life is suffering? Well, he sounds like a bummer, doesn't he? Oh, life is suffering? I don't know whether I want to follow this guy or not. Well, that's just the first of the Four Noble Truths, so, right? Yeah, life is suffering. Okay, here's one way to think about this, okay? We're sick. We suffer from life, okay, in one form or another. And we need a doctor. And we're going to go see Dr. Buddha. All right, so think of the Buddha as a doctor. When you go to a doctor, what is the first thing that he or she asks you for? Well, after what insurance do you have? Yeah. Thank you. Spoken like a true American, right? What is she going to ask you? What's she going to ask you?
What are your symptoms?
Yeah, what's wrong? What are your symptoms, right? What are your symptoms? And I think that's what he's doing, right? What are your symptoms? Life is suffering. It's hard. It's tough, right? Oh, yes, you can be sailing along, right? Enjoying yourself. Oh, winter's finally gone, right? Happy days are here again. Boom. Right? Boom. Oh. That illness comes along, that car wreck, just whatever, right? Financial distress. Oh. It's tough, right? It's tough. And, even on our best days, always those little niggling doubts, right? Am I really good enough? Am I really smart enough, right? Did I do the right thing? Why did she say that to me? Why did I say that to her, right? All those little things, right? All those little things. It's tough. I can understand why someone might think the Buddha to be pessimistic, but that's not the end of the story, right? He's really just getting started. But if you think about it, okay, from the moment we are conceived, before we even arrive fully on the planet, okay, from the moment of conception, at least as we understand it, there are these little things called germs that are out to get you, right? They want to kill you, right? And they will if they get a chance. If they get a chance. Isn't that what HIV/AIDS is, right? You know anything about HIV/AIDS? What happens is your body's defenses are damaged, right? And the lower they go, the weaker they get. The germs are already there. It's not like they show up, right? It's just that they've been waiting for that chance. And as soon as it happens, boom, they're in there and they take you out. They take you out, right? One of the many reasons why it's been so crucial to develop some sort of cure for HIV/AIDS, right? Not to mention other diseases. From the moment of conception. And let's just say you make it through those 9 months, give or take, right? And many don't. Is birth a happy time? Oh, I'm not talking about after the birth. I'm talking about the moment itself. The build-up, huh? You ever witnessed that or experienced it yourself? It's, from what I can tell now, it's like screaming bloody murder, okay? In fact, if the mother can get her hands on whoever did this to her, it might just be screaming bloody murder. Yes, it is so traumatic for everyone involved. And ironically, one of the moments in life when you were closest to dying is the moment of your birth. Okay, so you made it here, right? You made it here. Childhood. How many never make it through? How many never make it? Whether it's illness, accident, The mess that is going on in Syria today, there's an article in the New York Times about the children who are suffering because of that war, and it is always, always, always the little ones, the wee ones, who suffer in a war. Soldiers, okay. Governments, okay. Refugees, but it's the children. It is the children, right? And the ones who survive will live traumatized for the rest of their lives, right? For the rest of their lives. Not a big fan of war, right? But then who is? Well, some seem to be. Anyway. You get through your childhood, okay? You get through your childhood. Some of you lost friends in high school, teenage years, right? Oh, it can still happen. Young adults, it's so tragic, right? There's something sad about an elderly person, when they move on, but when it happens to someone young, then it takes on a level of tragedy that it might not otherwise have. Okay, you get through adulthood. You made it, right? Middle age, great time. Most of the time. What is happening to my hair? I didn't have these racing stripes before, right? Oh, I can't do things I once could. It's such a weird thing to be involved in this time, right? In this changefulness that does not stop. Again, our culture, youth obsessed, right? It's all about being young, looking young, right? Oh, yeah. Young people, enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy it while it lasts. Oh. We don't want to get older. I mean, and some of you in this room know that there are tremendous benefits of being older. Right? Oh, it kind of rocks in some ways, but it can be tough. It can be tough. It can be tough, right? Well, let's just say, and I see some of you out there jogging around, and maybe you want to live forever. I don't know what you're running from. I only run if something's chasing me. Actually, I think I do know what you're running from. But let's just say you live to be 100 years old, okay? 100 years old, right? And you're healthy the whole time. You know one of the things going to happen for you? You're going to end up going, well, yeah, you're going to die too, right? But you're going to end up going to the funeral of everybody you know and love. Every single one of them. Every single one. So go ahead, stick around, right? Stick around. Just say it. It's not like you're going to escape it. You can postpone it, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't, right? Oh, but no, sooner or later, man, the Grim Reaper's coming for every one of us, right? That's just a fact. It is just a fact. How we deal with that, and I think what you see here is yet another religious tradition, yet another cultural way of dealing with that reality, right? We live in a world that we know we inhabit temporarily, and how do we make sense of that? How do we make sense of it, right? I think that's part of what is happening here, because if you can make sense of death, then you can start making sense of life, right? I'm happy to report to you that my own story had a happy ending, okay? After that tragedy, which really just sort of jettisoned me out of my whole life, right? Through the love of a good woman, right? Sheer stubbornness and stick-to-itiveness, right? And just hanging on, like Papa, just hanging on for a while until I started getting some perspective in my life, right? Things turned around for me, went back to school, right? And the rest, as they say, is hysterical. And there was a while there, right? And I don't say this easily, but again, it's the tribal thing, right? It's the tribal trust. For a while, as a young man, I wasn't sure I wanted to be here. This world is hard, and it hurts people, and it sometimes doesn't seem to care. It just doesn't seem to care, right? Oh. But, I sat with it. And I thought it through, right? Some of you have been there, right? And if you haven't, stick around, right? Stick around. But if you do ever walk that dark valley, the last thing you should do is beat yourself up about it. It's taboo in our culture even to think about, right? Much less talk about. But no, it's part of life. We're here by choice, right? We're here by choice. Every morning we choose to stay. We choose to stay, right? And I have to tell you, I understand why I was in that place back then, but I am so glad that I decided to stay here. Now, granted, I would have spared myself a lot of pain in my life if I had checked out, but I would have missed so much joy. So much joy. So many cool things, right? Like getting to hang out with you all. Oh, right? Yes. Yes. Well, again, the unexamined life is not worth living, then the examined life might well be worth living, right? To know why we are here, where we're headed, and what we're up to. So, after you tell your doctor your symptoms, what does she or he come up with for you? A diagnosis. You people are just right on. And yes, a diagnosis. Well, what's the diagnosis, Doc? Right? What's the diagnosis? In other words, what's causing my symptoms? What causes that suffering? Oh, you're not going to like this. No, it's so un-American. Oh, no. Especially if you're in the advertising business. It's desire. It's craving. Craving causes suffering. I need that car. I got to have that car. I don't just want it. I need it. That shirt, I need that shirt. It's an awesome shirt.